So if you have a family history of heart disease, cancer, and it's a family history that is troubling to you, it is important that you realize that you could rewrite your family history based on your choices and stop blaming your genetics. It is not your genetics' fault. Welcome to the 100-Year Lifestyle Podcast, dedicated to you and your loved ones living at 100% for 100 years and beyond. I'm your host, Dr. Eric Plasker. Welcome everybody to the 100-Year Lifestyle, Season 4. Yes, we are transforming health and longevity worldwide so that you and your loved ones can live at 100% for 100 years and beyond. And hey, I want to just thank you for being a part of our journey. We've been gone preparing, doing a lot of work behind the scenes, building a lot of relationships, meeting with so many people in our practice in Marietta, Georgia, and communities around the country where we have providers who are serving people on the ground, helping people, our chiropractors, our leaders, our freedom people, our supporters, and all types of organizations. Masters of Health Magazine, thank you for the support. Brain Tap, as always, Magnesium via Skin, Legally Mine, and so many other seminar leaders, state associations, national associations that have been promoting this message, the 100-Year Lifestyle message, because they believe in human potential and they want people to thrive. You, yes, you are the most important person as far as I'm concerned. Your consciousness, your awareness, your self-trust, your health, your vitality, your energy. And, you know, the world's gone mad. We know that the world has absolutely gone mad. I am a Billy Joel fan from way back, growing up in New York, and that song, "We Didn't Start the Fire," it's always burning since the world's been turning. It has never been more true than it is today. So with everything going on in the world, I'm going to share with you today so many important things to focus you, to keep you on track, to get you to have your life be the way that you want it to be, the way that you were put here on this earth to do, finding that center, trusting yourself, getting healthier than you've ever been in your entire life. And what's really been interesting, 37 years in practice has been an interesting year for me. I just turned 60. I have a family history of heart disease, cancer, thyroid disease, etc. They told me when I was really young, oh my God, heart disease runs in your family. You're going to have a heart attack if you don't take these drugs. You know, as a 60-year-old man on zero medication, I can tell you right now that I feel healthier than I've ever been in my entire life. And at the same time, that our mission, our vision, our conversation has never wavered. We have never had to change our story. It has only gotten stronger. And what's been great through the 100-Year Lifestyle and the things that we're going to talk about today on this call, it's in our books, it's on our website, it's everywhere. We have realized that we can duplicate this message to all kinds of people in all kinds of places. We have holistic doctors who are not chiropractors jumping on board with this message. We have individuals in companies, organizations speaking on all kinds of platforms. Our doctors are speaking on other platforms. We are really penetrating communities because people like you are implementing these common sense, timeless truths that will make a difference for you as individuals, that will also empower you in your work, in your life, in your relationships, to help you be your best self, functioning at your highest level for a lifetime. And like most people that we're learning about our longevity potential, hopefully for you, 80, 90, 100 years and beyond. And what's been interesting that is happening in the world right now is that the world has lined up behind our ideas. There are so many greatest form of flattery situations that are happening where people are copycatting our messages in so many different ways. We've been doing it for over 20 years. We were, I believe, one of the first people, if not the first person on the planet talking about these principles in this way, all put together in this way, related to longevity, health, and vitality, how it all fit together. And the world is lining up behind these ideas, and we love that because it is the greatest form of flattery. And I could tell you that the other side of that, not only have we been validated in so many ways in the world by those organizations, groups, people, etc., but the doctors that are out in the world, the chiropractors that are out in the world that are speaking this message, they are really making a difference for the people in their community. And here's another big thing. People don't trust their doctors anymore. In a recent report, the doctors' trust, the trust in the status quo has gone from 73% trust to less than 40% trust. The millennials don't trust their doctors. The older generation doesn't trust their doctors. And what's interesting about this is I just got invited. Dr. Alan Nathan's chiropractor, Jacksonville, Florida. He's one of our 100-year lifestyle doctors. Just did a massive expansion. He's doing amazing work down there at Nathan's Family Chiropractic. And what was cool about it was that he invited me down there to be at his open house, to meet the people, to do some radio interviews, and to sign a bunch of books. And so I did. And it was just last weekend, and it was really fantastic. It warmed my heart because so many people were coming up to me saying thank you. And they were saying things like, you know what, I found myself through this. I got my health back. I used to take a lot of medication. I don't take any medication anymore. The doctors told me I needed surgery. I never needed the surgery after I did what Dr. Nathans was talking about, and how I read the 100-year lifestyle principles and they changed my life. And I was giving people hugs, and there were teenagers. There was one 15-year-old kid that looked lost. He found himself, he was having all kinds of migraine headaches and health problems, and he ended up reading the 100-year lifestyle, connecting to the 100-year lifestyle, learning about it, went to see Dr. Nathans. Now he's doing great, and he's thinking about being a chiropractor. I got really excited about that. And his mom, who was diagnosed with some autoimmune issues, and she got her life back. And it was so inspiring. And an older woman, I called her my soul sister because she had this beautiful orange afro. She was in her mid-70s, I think it was. And for those of you that don't know my history, I have an orange afro history. I had a big, bright orange afro when I was in high school, and it was classic back then. Now you look at it and people just crack up. But this woman, she's a soul sister. Anybody with hair like that is a soul relation to me as far as I'm concerned. And she was talking about how she had surgery and it didn't work for her, and she regrets having the surgery. She wishes that she would have done this first, made the 100-year lifestyle changes. She wishes she would have gotten chiropractic care first, made the nutritional changes. But you know what? Even after the fact, fortunately, she wasn't butchered to the point where she couldn't do anything, and she's not a drug addict. She did not get addicted to opioids like so many unsuspecting souls do. And you know what? She's doing fantastic. And I can go on with the stories, and it was really, really special. And so what is happening more than ever, the distrust, it's not the doctors are God's generation anymore. Remember back when, 20, 30, 40 years ago, 50 years ago, when doctors recommended smoking and doctors recommended all these things that were not good for you, and it's still happening today in so many ways. So you have to be discerning. You have to be able to see and to have a foundation of truth so that you can make choices that are good for you. Because ultimately, you're the one that suffers the consequences of those choices. And if you're going to live at 100% for 100 years and beyond, you got to take charge of your life and your choices. And one of the people that I met over the weekend or at that event in Jacksonville, she said, you know what, I don't know that I could ever be 100% because of the surgeries that I've had. And I wish I didn't do so many of them. And I wish I would have listened to this message first, because I feel like I could have healed myself, especially since I'm doing so much better right now. But just like we talked about in our podcast interview that we did with Dr. Darrell, where you can be 100% of what you can be, because he had an injury that affected his ability to be 100% for 100 years, but he could be 83%, 92% for 100 years, or 97% for 100 years. And so you have the opportunity to make those choices for yourself today. And you know, when it comes to life expectancy, there was some interesting information that came out recently that I think is just really important that you know about it, because it's meaningful. You know, life expectancy has dropped to the lowest level it's dropped the most since World War II. And people will ask me all the time, why do you think that is, Dr. Plasker? And I'll ask them, well, what happened in World War II? We had a world war and a Holocaust. And there was all kinds of propaganda and all kinds of things that was They were changing people's brains. They were getting people to think through propaganda. They were getting people to think about things in a way that was not necessarily good for them. And what's really interesting when you look at the statistics, people will say to me, well, maybe it's because of the stress in the world. And, older people, aren't they more vulnerable? They're dying now like never before. Well, here's the reality. In a recent report that just came out, the rate of death by age showed an increase among all groups, including a 10.1% jump among children ages 1 to 4, a 16.1% increase in the death rates for people between the ages of 35 to 44, and a 12.1% increase for people ages 45 to 54. But the smallest increase was for the elderly. Their life expectancy just dropped by 0.1 year. And so it's important to understand that it's not this life expectancy drop. It's not because the older people are dying faster. It's because the younger people are dying younger and sicker than ever because of the choices that they are making and because of the care that is being recommended by so many of the political bodies that are out there. And we have to take control. We have to take our health back. And it's got to be up to you. You got to make these choices, and we're going to guide you along the way to live this lifestyle so that you can function at your best for a lifetime, 100% for 100 years. I had an article published. We did a podcast on it recently in last October, about in the Masters of Health magazine article that we published about the chiropractic journey from persecuted to essential, where we realized and uncovered the playbook by political medicine to harm the chiropractic industry. It went all the way to the Supreme Court. We won, but the damage of all that misinformation, disinformation playbook that they ran lingered for generations, and that's what's happening right now in this country. People have been watching mainstream media and all those things, watching all the drug ads. I always tell people now, don't watch the drug ads. Listen to the drug ads. If a drug ad ever comes on something that you're watching, close your eyes and listen to the side effects and realize they are telling you the playbook of what's to come. And you know what? You don't have to experience that. You can make the changes. My parents were on, God rest their soul, they were on a lot of medications. They were affected by a lot of the playbook, quote unquote, that the pharmaceutical industry was giving them. And it is important now that we really understand that playbook is happening, but you can take your life back. Your 100 is coming. You make the call. Very important statement. You make the call through your choices, what you listen to, what's important to you, what you care about, what your talents are, and you can do it. So this season 4, we're going to hear from a lot of great people, a lot of great organizations. We're going to get some great insights, some great ideas. And what I want to do today is I want to lay the foundation of you living at 100% for 100 years and beyond. And what are the steps that you need to take? It's going to be a review in many ways. Hopefully it's going to be inspiring for those of you that are joining us for the first time. And we want you to wear your shirts, your 100 shirts with pride, those workout shirts, wear them with pride, knowing that you're on this journey. And it all starts with vision. Listen, it is important for all of us to develop a long-term vision for our lives, regardless of your age. We have seen people that are in their 60s and 70s get exposed to the 100-year lifestyle concept, realizing that, you know what, my parents lived to be 87, 89, 93, and I'm 70. I still have 20 more years. I don't want to rot away. I need to develop a vision for my extended life. And so people that develop vision, they create opportunities. The world changes when you change your vision, when you get clarity around a vision, which can be a process for some people, but for others, man, bam, you hear this message and you say, you know what, I know what I want to do, and I've known what I've wanted to do for a long time, and it's not too late. I got 20 more years, I'm going to do it. And what was interesting is, and we see it with the younger generations, I was talking to a person down in Jacksonville recently, and this kid, I said, what are you going to do? Do you have an idea what you want to study? What do you want to do with your life? And he says, I have no idea. I'm thinking about being a chiropractor, getting into holistic health, but I don't know if I want to take the time to go to school. I said, well, and I did that Empire formula, that minimum potential years remaining exercise that's on the homepage of 100yearlifestyle.com. And I just kind of walked him through it. I said, well, how old is your oldest grandparent that ever lived or is still living? He said, 91. I said, you're 16. How many potential years do you have ahead of you if you commit yourself to something that you're passionate about now, and it takes 3, 4, 5, 6 years, then you can enjoy the benefits of that passionate living for the next 80 years, 75 years or more. So why wouldn't you make that commitment now? And he was like, wow, it's like a light bulb went off in his mind. And so the light bulb hopefully will go off in your mind that there's developing that vision, trusting your gut about what that vision is, even if you have to go down a few paths to figure it out. It's important that you explore that opportunity. And then second part of this vision area is making the changes that you know you need to make in order to manifest that vision. So what are those changes? Some of you, it's health changes. Some of you, it's career changes. Some of you, it's educational changes. Some of you, it's what you eat. Some of it, it's getting adjusted, taking care of your frame, your nervous system, your brain, your spinal cord in a way that keeps you healthy and highly functional. Some of you have degenerated and you have to regenerate, which requires change in how you utilize the care that you're getting. You know, a lot of the people that we see in our practices, we have people that come in and they would be coming and getting adjusted on a maintenance level once a month, once every 3 months, once every 6 months, or once a year. And they are feeling better every time they do, but they're not making any changes that are preventing the degeneration. So listen, if you can degenerate, if you've been degenerating, you can regenerate if you change the way you utilize your care. If you only start to eat healthy after you've made yourself sick, or if you've gained 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 pounds, you make the change that is supportive of you living your best life every single day. So the 3 life-changing principles: change is easy, thinking about change is hard. That's the magnet principle. Dig into it. We have a whole podcast on just that in one of our first segments of way back a couple of years ago. Go back and listen to that or read it in the book. But change is easy, thinking about change is hard. So commit to the change, and then know that change comes one choice at a time. Think progress, not perfection. You're not going to get to where you want to be overnight. You have to commit to the change with every choice that you make. That's the persistence principle, being persistent in spite of the result that you might see in the moment or that you might not see. You have to know you're on the right track. And then third, if you're going to make a change, make it with your ideal 100-year lifestyle in mind. Make it a compelling change so that it supports your long-term vision. And we see that with doctors that we work with. We see that with individuals that we work with in our practices. And it's very, very exciting 2, 3, 5, 7 years later. And now for me, 37 years later, seeing people, talking to people that have been under care for that long and how it's completely changed the course of their life to make those changes and make those changes their new ideal 100-year lifestyle. And then there's the energy component. And people will say to me all the time, Dr. Plasker, I would make these changes if I thought I had the energy to do it. Well, the personal energy inventory exercise that we teach, really important. You can dig into that in a lot of detail in previous podcasts. This is an overview review to get you plugged back in if you want to. It's in the books, it's in our ebooks, it's on our website. Very simple. You transform bad habits to good habits, and you make the changes that you need to make through your energy. You stop eating bad foods. You start eating good foods. You stop taking medications. You start taking supplements that are good for you. You start getting adjusted. You start taking care of your nervous system. You stop sitting in a bad way. You stop harming yourself, hurting yourself over time, and it immediately shifts your energy. When you make transfer these energy draining habits into energy gaining, energy rewarding habits, the youthful energy just comes back naturally. We call it innate energy. And when you manifest this innate energy, you will feel younger at the end of the day than you did at the beginning of the day, even though you're one day older. And if you do that for a week, a month, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, you will feel younger today at the end of that time period than you did way back, because that's how the body works. Remember, your innate intelligence, your body's intelligence, which is much better than artificial intelligence, by the way, actual intelligence and innate intelligence, much better than artificial intelligence. Your innate intelligence will organize around the thoughts that you think, the choices that you make, and the lifestyle that you live. And so if you organize your energy around these higher level thoughts, this new vision, your body, your mind, your spirit will move you in that direction, and you will develop new habits that support your human potential pattern, as we call it, that supports you living your ideal 100-year lifestyle. There's a great earlier podcast that we did on habit patterns that optimize energy. Go back and listen to that one if you really want to dig into some changes. There's another one called Mastering Personal Change. Really, really, really important. It'll support you in living your best life every single day, starting right now and every day moving forward. The next piece of this is to stop killing yourself through bad habits. You got to take control of your addictions. So if you have a family history of heart disease, cancer, and it's a family history that is troubling to you, it is important that you realize that you could rewrite your family history based on your choices and stop blaming your genetics. It is not your genetics' fault. You may have genes that keep you susceptible to certain things, but if they're not expressed because your choices are in a direction that keep you healthy, functional, and positive, then you're not going to get those diseases, or you'll prolong it years and years and years and years and years and years and years into the future. So listen, don't buy into the whole genetic story. You can make the changes that keep you healthy if you make those right kind of choices, and you deserve to do it. Change your healthcare hierarchy. So the healthcare hierarchy in the 100-year lifestyle is self-care, healthcare, crisis care last. Remember, self-care, these are the things that you need to do for yourself that nobody else can do for you. You got to make healthy choices when nobody else is around. You got to take care of yourself. Nobody can eat for you. Nobody can sleep for you. Nobody can sweat for you. You got to do these things to keep yourself healthy. Sitting up straight, you got to do the things that are necessary to keep yourself functioning at your highest level that nobody else can do for you. And then when it comes to health care, listen, crisis care is not health care. Crisis care is crisis care. Thank God for the crisis care emergency rooms and the emergency people. But health care, that's things like chiropractic lifestyle care, good nutrition, things that you can't do for yourself that other people can do for you. Maybe having a personal trainer, that's health care. Maybe having a nutritionist, that's health care. You know, it's interesting for us as chiropractors. We have so many people that come to us and they say, you know what, I've done everything else that's good for me, but some things haven't changed. They start getting adjusted for lifestyle care. They make that transition, and all of a sudden, everything else that they're doing in their life works better because their nervous system is healthier. So listen, it's finding the right type of care. We had an article that we published, also a podcast that we did on primary care with a natural flair. It's a great resource to go back to if you want to explore these things. But I can tell you, like in our office and in 100-year lifestyle offices around the country, we have become the primary choice of healthcare for people of all ages, shapes, and sizes, and they are doing it because they understand the importance of taking care of themselves and having a holistic approach to their body and not just treating symptoms with drugs. Oh my God, it's driving me crazy that people do that. Listen, but we love you. We're not mad at you. We just want you to get on top of it and start taking care of yourself differently. So go visit our 100-year lifestyle providers. Go to the map on 100yearlifestyle.com. If you're looking to be a part of our network, you can apply on that page also. Just go to 100yearlifestyle.com. Hopefully you enjoyed this passionate start to season 4 of the 100-Year Lifestyle podcast. We appreciate you sharing this journey with us. Climb that leadership ladder, make the changes that you know you need to make, wear your 100 workout shirts with pride, dig into our books, the audio books, all of those things. To our providers, our chiropractors, our sponsors, we appreciate you so much for taking a stand in your community for the people that you care about. And remember, everybody, your 100 is coming. You make the call. Thanks again for being with us. Dr. Eric Plasker, signing out. Thank you so much for joining us on the 100-Year Lifestyle Podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have topics that you want us to cover, people you want us to interview, maybe you have some stories that you want to share, stories of yourself, loved ones, people in your life, we would love to hear from you and share your story. Please email us at my100@100yearlifestyle.com. And remember, nobody wants to get to 100 or even 50, 60, or 70 for that matter, crippled, broke, and alone. So please share the 100-Year Lifestyle, all of our podcasts, social media pages, website with your family, friends, and coworkers so they can take this journey with you. And until next time, adjust your lifestyle. Live your best life today and every day on the road to a sensational century. Dr. Plasker, signing off.